Last Tuesday at this time, Magic was stepping down. Since then, Luke was unemployed for, 30 seconds, gone and now landing in Sacramento. So the Lakers looking for a coach. The front office still is in a shambles. Some are saying that Jeanie's not going to hire a president. Some are saying that Pelinka should be out, or Pelinka should be the president, or whatever. What are your general feelings on the Laker front office?
If 2 months ago you had told me that of Luke, Rob, and Magic, only one was going to be surviving, the last one I would have picked would be Rob Pelinka. The stories are swirling out there that he is not well liked. Right. That the Lakers ownership and management, the front office, has got some blinders on. They're very myopic about this. They like Rob, so they just assume that everybody else likes Rob. But he's an agent, right? He's a bottom feeder.
And nobody likes agents.
So nobody first of all, nobody likes lawyers, right. And nobody likes agents. Yeah. They're like the next circle of hell, down from lawyers. And now he's a general manager and he's trying to do deals, and some of these general managers had to deal with him
when he was an agent.
When he was an agent, they're thinking, screw you.
Yeah.
Why should I help you?
Agents don't like him, and the front office doesn't like him.
And other agents don't like him. General managers don't like him. And I believe the stories that he's not well liked, that he's not well respected, and frankly, he has no experience. You've talked about that. Right. He just doesn't have it. So I'm concerned because Jeanie Buss put out a statement, but we haven't seen her in front of a camera. And some of that might be because there are other things that are happening and she wants to stay out of the way. They're going to be hiring a coach, but it just doesn't look good to me. It doesn't feel good to me. It doesn't look good, and I don't have a lot of confidence that if Pelinka is sort of elevated and bridges the gap between general manager and Jeanie as sort of occupying that president's position without actually having the title, I'm worried.
If it hadn't been for Kobe, Pelinka never would have gotten that job. I honestly believe that. I think Kobe really, spoke for him and pushed him and, talked to the Jeanie and the front office. I'm not sure he would have been hired without the support of Kobe. I want to see him go.
Just like Tyrone Lue wouldn't be interviewed if it wasn't for LeBron. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The worst thing that I've heard said today and over the last week about Ty Lue and the sort of the optics of, oh God, why free agents will just say, I don't want to play on LeBron's team. Look, he's got his coach there. If they hire Ty Lue might be the right guy for the job. But the worst thing that I heard today is that Ramona Shelburne said that LeBron hears Ty.
I heard that.
Ty Lue.
I heard that.
That's not the kind of relationship. Yeah. Just because you need somebody who can be coached, who's coachable, who is your coach out on the court, and you tell them something, and not that they just hear you, but that they act on what you're telling them. And he may respect Ty Lue, but he doesn't have the same. There's not a player-coach relationship going on there. He may respect him a little bit, but
I remember games in Cleveland that I watched a couple of years ago, and Ty would have everybody around him, and LeBron would be off walking along the bench, not paying any attention.
But that's the majority of the NBA now. They don't look at anybody. The only guy they really look at is the guy in San Antonio.
And that's because he's a little older and he's got to speak up.
Right, exactly. But the majority of your stars aren't looking at anybody.
Yeah,
they're looking at their phone.
I don't think. Yeah, exactly. I think Westbrook's looking, at Scott, but I don't know. It's it's I don't know if it's the mentality of like, why do I need to listen to you? I make 5 times what you make.
Exactly.
Right? So
there's clearly some of that, and there's also some of them which is just ego. There are times when you watch the Lakers and you'll see those timeouts, and Luke's trying to coach, and there's Rondo screaming at guys. And it's like, and LeBron's hurt, so Rondo's the guy, and he's the next, he's the next general, I guess, in line. And it's like, he might be smart, and he may be a good player, but shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
And getting back to, what you pointed out, with Luke, I think he's in a good spot.
I think he's in a great spot.
Yeah, I think he's if they can adapt to the way he runs his offense, you got young kids that are going to listen to him.
That's going to be a good team.
It's
going to be a good team.
I think he's in a good spot. And I think that's why he jumped on it, to be honest with you. I think it's like, I feel like I'm going to be able to coach. You know what I mean?
It's not going to be any pressure. That could be the pressure that he had down here. Plus, you don't have the press and the media, collection in Sacramento that you have down here. I think he's going to have a lot easier time. It's just, if he can get his philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look, there are some expectations that are going to come from him. It wasn't all Luke's fault, but there's still some challenges that he has as a young coach. The fact that his substitution and his personnel changes, they just seemed weird and random. And I was talking with a friend who lives in Sacramento, and he says, "Well, I guess I'm on board. I'm gonna see how this goes. It wasn't my first choice, but I'm gonna see how it goes." And I told him, "Look, I think he's a good coach. I really do, and I think he's going to get better. And 10 years down the line, he's likely going to be a pretty good coach. But positionless basketball can be a very tricky thing unless you catch, fire with a team like Golden State, right? But that didn't just happen. I mean, you don't just go whatever it was 28-0 with the guy holding the clipboard unless he's doing something right, making the right substitutions, making the right timeout calls, and doing some things right.
Well, and you also had depth on that team last year too in Golden State, so or 2 years,
a couple of years ago,
2 years ago. Sorry.
Now, don't you think the Lakers should get their front office in order before they start talking about hiring a coach? I mean,
of course.
You got to have a gentleman.
I think that's the story that everybody's missing. I think that Jeanie has put it in order, and it's not an order that we think is in order. It's out of order. But Pelinka's a guy. The shift of power it's in Rob's hands. He's going to hire this new coach, and there's not going to be anybody between him and Jeanie. It feels like it's done. The die is cast.
And she's convinced that he can negotiate trades with other general managers, sign free agents. Like you say, he's still not really liked. I'm
only convinced that he can clear cap space. That's all I'm convinced. That's all I'm convinced he can do right now. We've seen him for 2 years now, and the jury is still out.
Haven't heard much from him, but we've seen a lot of him.
The thing that I haven't heard word one from is Kobe, right?
Right.
Magic did nothing to say Rob's the guy. He's got my confidence. He can take care of things. He said nothing like that. And this is Kobe's guy. Mm-hmm. And Kobe is still sort of affiliated with the team in some ways, but I would have at least want to hear something from Kobe. Yeah. Something.
I just hope that doesn't affect the free agents.
It's going to. I don't think there's any question. I don't think there's any question. It feels icky.
Yeah, when you have so many people that don't like you, agents, general managers, and you got to think, LeBron next year's number 2. Only 2 years after that, he's not going to get a championship here if they aren't respectable next year and at least make the playoffs. His window is going to close for another championship.
But I think he's going to struggle to actually negotiate deals because he knows how these agents think, right? And it's almost like when you're buying a car, don't ever sell a salesman, right? It's just like he's going to go like, I know exactly where you're going. We're not going to do that, but and then these agents are probably going to look at him and go, well, you would have went there, and
that's what you would have done.
Yeah, that's what you would have done. Yeah. And so hopefully that doesn't bite him and he understands how you have to think as a general manager and not like he doesn't want to put his agent hat on when he's in these negotiations. You got to put his general manager hat on,
right.
Yeah.
So
unless he's selling the guys that he's trying to trade, right?
Yeah.
If in a deal like that, I mean, if he's signing free agents, it's a different story. But if he's trying to sell one of his guys in a trade, then that's the point where you hope that he's a very good agent and a very good seller. All he takes is one, right? All it takes is one. Mm-hmm. And there was, in the middle of the season, there was some talk that the Bulls wanted Lonzo Ball. I think that talk is happening again, that the Bulls might be – they're definitely interested in a point guard. right? Whether that point guard is Lonzo Ball, whether they would give up enough, whether they have anything that the Lakers could actually want. Would they give away an early draft pick? Probably not likely. They'd have to package something. But I think that if the interest is still there, there are some deals that can be made. And so we have to hope that it's not just about free agency. It's about what else you can acquire.
Jeanie is not stupid. She's a bright woman, a very good, runs the organization very well. Can't she see what the outside world sees? According, as far as Rob Pelinka is concerned, doesn't she understand that he's not that popular?
I think there's a problem when you're in that rarefied air, right? Sometimes when you're that smart, sometimes you just think other people are dumb, or they're wrong, right? And so I like this guy. They must all be wrong about him. Yeah. It's a little myopic, but there are plenty of people who got rich and ran big companies because they had a kind of a singular vision, right?
Let's assume then that there's no other front office people, brought on board. What other coaching is this thing clear cut for Ty Lue, or are there other candidates out there?
There's Monty Williams.
Monty Williams
and Juwan Howard.
Juwan Howard, yeah.
So I think Monty Williams was interviewed today. Ty Lue this or tomorrow, and then Ty Lue in a couple of days. There was talk of Juwan Howard. I don't know, but I haven't heard anything else. Those are the only three guys that I've heard.
I haven't ever heard anything else other than that.
And I think it's probably leaning towards Ty Lue.
Ty Lue.